Just before her wedding, a woman is hit by a space meteorite that turns her into a giant monster. She is imprisoned with others like her, unaware they'll have to save the world from a deadly threat. That's why today, monsters versus aliens. Remember, if you like the videos, you can support the channel by liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications. It's free, and it really helps me keep growing. Now let's get started. The story begins when a powerful meteor breaks off from a planet in the solar system and heads toward Earth to cause a natural disaster. This event is reported by two National Aeronautics and Space Administration employees who discover that the area in danger is California, and that's why they try to alert the authorities about the situation. In this city, our protagonist, Susan, is surprised at night by her fiancé's declaration of love. He turns out to be the weatherman from the news, whom she will marry in a few days. On the big day, Susan wears her wedding dress, but before the ceremony, she meets her future husband to discuss their plans. He cares more about his career than their relationship, and that's why he tells her they shouldn't go to Paris for their honeymoon, because it's not as nice as a small town called Fresno, where he has an important job interview that he doesn't want to miss. This doesn't excite the girl at all. She still supports him and tells him to leave so he won't see her in the dress before the wedding. Alone, Susan hears a strange noise that turns out to be a meteorite about to crash on Earth. Unfortunately, it ends up falling on her, making her dress completely dirty and leaving her totally disheveled. Fortunately, her mother arrives and quickly prepares her for the ceremony. But when she gets to the altar, we can notice that Susan has a strange green color on her face. And out of nowhere, she starts to grow until she becomes a giant woman with white hair. Her guests flee during the scare. The church is destroyed, and the country's military unexpectedly arrives to control the situation and sedate her. When Susan wakes up, she discovers she's locked in what appears to be a massive interrogation room inside a mysterious bunker. There, she encounters a strange creature she quickly hits in self-defense and discovers a living, gelatinous substance. In addition, there's a kind of lizard who likes to fight and is excited about the new female monster they found. Then they introduce themselves to her and ask what her monster name is, but our protagonist replies that she's simply called Susan. Soon it's time for dinner, and that's when they find a monster much bigger than her, which is controlled with fluorescent lights. She tries to get help escaping, but only secures a meeting with a colonel, who gives her a tour of the 1950-built base where monsters from around the world are held. The government intends to keep their existence unknown, making this place a secret. He tells her that, because of this, her family and future husband will never know where she is. He also shows her what others of her new species can do, helping us learn more about them. The girl pleads to go home, but he says it's not possible. He locks her in a huge cell and tells her the government has changed her name to General. At the same time, in outer space, we meet a four-eyed alien who is very interested in tracking the meteorite that hit our protagonist. His intention is to take possession of it because he believes it's the universe's most powerful material. It's essential for his evil plan on Earth. We see a couple getting affectionate when they witness the meteorite impact near them. They quickly decide to investigate and find it's a spaceship. The following day, the President of the United States arrives at the giant robot monster's location to communicate with it, with an impressive funk melody he's been practicing. But the alien doesn't seem to like this music, so he decides to smash his keyboard as an attack. As a result, the President orders violence, starting an epic showdown. The problem is that the robot seems to be indestructible, and the military's weapons aren't enough to stop it. For this reason, they hold an emergency security committee where they are about to press the button to launch the nuclear missiles by accident, since this button is right next to the one they use to make coffee. During the discussion, they try to get rid of it and the aliens until the colonel arrives to inform them. His plan is to use the monsters they've kept locked up for 50 years, as they're the only ones able to face the new enemies. Then he begins to introduce each one of them. First, there's Insectosaurio, transformed by nuclear radiation, who attacked Tokyo years ago. There's also Eslabon Perdido, who is a fishman from 20,000 years ago, thawed out by scientists. On the other hand, we officially meet Dr. Cucaracha, the brightest man in the world who invented the scientific machine that gives humans the survival abilities of cockroaches. And finally, there's B.O.B., who is the result of combining a chemically altered tomato with a similarly altered dressing. This made him an indestructible gelatinous mass. Joining them is our protagonist, who is the newest member of the group. Convinced by this explanation, the president orders them to confront the aliens. Meanwhile, Dr. Cockroach starts experimenting on Susan, who has been locked in the bunker for a month. In a conversation, we discover that no monster has left there since she entered. At that moment, Colonel offers her freedom if she fights the powerful alien robot. Everyone agrees easily, so they are taken to a place near San Francisco for the battle to begin. When they get off the plane, the group feels really happy to breathe fresh air, but when they see their new enemy, they start to worry. Susan panics, so she decides to run toward the city while the rest try to face him, but they freeze and don't make even the slightest effort to attack. Our protagonist manages to hide among some buildings, but she is quickly spotted by the alien, who starts chasing her, causing the destruction of many buildings. With no other option, the gigantic girl runs and soon uses cars as skates. For his part, as Le Bon Perdido manages to reach the city through a sewer. Dr. Cockroach uses a tram he modified himself, and bicarbonate acetylzine benzoate is stuck to the gigantic one. The chase continues to the Golden Gate Bridge, where a terrible accident occurs and the alien quickly locates her. That's why they start doing everything possible to kill her, causing a lot of destruction along the way. Fortunately, Insectosaurus appears to defend our protagonist and somehow manages to distract him. Susan stops the robot's claw and Dr. Cockroach enters it, causing a short circuit. But the alien uses a blue light to hypnotize and control Insectosaurus. Then, Susan asks bicarbonate acetylzine benzoate for help to save the other people on the bridge. She seeks to defeat her rival, who meets a brutal end. The bad thing is that the four-eyed alien is watching every detail of the confrontation. He concludes our protagonist is his biggest threat, since she alone has defeated the robot. At the bunker, Insectosaurio feels bad for not helping much in the battle. What about the others? He congratulates Susan for proving she's the team's best. To celebrate, they organize a trip home as a reward for the work they've done. Our protagonist returns to his neighborhood to reunite with his happy parents, but they become scared when they meet the other monsters. Even so, his family organizes a big welcome party, but she decides to go look for her fiancé, Derek, because she can't stand being without him any longer. The problem is that her new size scares all her companions. When Susan greets him affectionately, she hurts him a bit, because she's much stronger now. Derek tells her he doesn't want to see her again, as he's embarrassed to be associated with her and fears losing his career. With great sadness, the gigantic girl returns home in tears and reunites with her new friends, who do her a favor. His life is now indifferent, and society isn't ready to accept it. Our protagonist realizes she now has an amazing new family, better than she wished for, so she chooses to stay with them. The bad thing is that the powerful force of a light begins to drag her until it pulls her inside a ship, while Insectosaurio receives a deadly attack. When Susan wakes up again, she finds herself inside a prison in front of the evil alien, whom we officially know as Galaxar. He tells her that he wants the powerful substance that caused the changes in her body, and the sensation behind her powerful force field. The most incredible thing of all is that our protagonist uses her new abilities to escape from him. So she starts chasing the villain, until by accident she ends up trapped in a kind of giant glass tube. There, Galaxar extracts the powerful substance from her, making Susan return to normal. He reveals his true plan is to colonize Earth, blaming humanity for his planet's destruction. That's how he creates hundreds of clones to execute his invasion plan. He also sends a message to all the informed continents that he has come in peace, but even so, he will invade them, and the survivors will become his slaves. At dawn, the other monsters choose to help Susan and ask the Colonel for assistance. They blend in with the villain's other clones by wearing identical uniforms, going unnoticed. Meanwhile, Galaxar orders one of his men to finish her off. On the way, they encounter our favorite monsters, who trick the villain by wearing the same uniform. The clone, Galaxar's guard, asks them to carry his things, gives them an access key and weapon, which bicarbonate acetylzine benzoate uses to knock him out, and then they search for the central reactor. The issue is that they're discovered by the original Galaxar, and now the protagonists must fight hundreds of clones to survive. They reach the reactor room and discover it can only be deactivated with a color code deciphered through a dance. So Dr. Cockroach gets to work tirelessly. Thanks to Dr. Cockroach's dance, the ship starts self-destructing and chaos erupts. The protocol includes closing the large walls, so the guys tell Susan that she should try to escape to get her old life back. She uses 2 anti-gravity devices to fly around the ship, destroys the robot compartment, and escapes outside. But at the last minute, she returns and orders the villain to free her friends. But he can't deactivate the ship's self-destruction and isn't willing to help the monsters. So our protagonist decides to confront him. She steals the substance that gave her power and uses it to restore her abilities. The monsters say their goodbyes and are nearly crushed, but Susan rescues them from the ship just in time. The issue is they're all falling into the void now. But miraculously, we see Insectosaurio appear, who has survived and now has butterfly wings that allow him to fly and rescue them. Right then, the ship explodes, causing the villain's death. Our protagonists return to Earth and are welcomed by everyone amid great excitement. With them is Dare, who has come to accept our protagonist's forgiveness. If he returns with her, he'll get a great job in New York. But she literally tells him to get lost and receives a new mission from the Colonel, which she will have to face with her new squad of monsters. Now they are responsible for protecting the planet. This seems like the end, but things don't stop there. Because after the credits, we see a new meeting of the Emergency Security Committee where the president presses the nuclear weapons button with the one from he was making coffee, causing great unknown damage somewhere in the world. This was Monsters vs. Aliens. Remember to like, comment which movies you'd like to see, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to catch upcoming videos.